Welcome to a special bonus episode of the Frankencast. I am the mad scientist Anthony Bowman. My pronouns are he, him, and I'm joined as always by...
the mashed together monster that is Eric Velazquez. My pronouns are also he, him.
So, Eric, let me tell you, I was working in my lab late one night.
Did your eyes behold a eerie sight?
They did. So my monster from his slab began to rise, and you wouldn't believe it, but suddenly to my surprise, he did the mash.
The monster mash?
The very same.
Sounds like a graveyard smash.
Indeed it was. So, yes, we're going to do a little quick episode here where we talk about the Halloween anthem, the Monster Mash. You know, Christmas has so many Christmas carols, but, you know, I think we all know that there is only one Halloween carol, and that is the Monster Mash.
The one true carol, yeah.
This song, it's funny, like... There's a lot, you know, there are a lot of imitators. Like, you can find, like, weird sort of, like, Monster Jam sort of compilations with all kinds of weird other monsters. You know, because it's this sort of thing where, like, if anything gets popular, there's going to be a million knockoffs. But, like, the way that this song sort of, like, happened is strange. And, like, it's one of those things that, like, it's lightning in a bottle. And so none of those other duplicates ever, you know, lived up to it. So, yeah, you've got Bobby Pickett, who was the singer of a band, and like occasionally between songs he would just do like a Boris Karloff impression on the mic, just like banter with the crowd, you know. And like his bandmates were like, you gotta like do something with that, it's so good. And that just sort of snowballed into him writing and recording this song, you know, credited as Bobby Boris Pickett. There's so many imitators, but you know, nothing comes close to the Monster Mash.
Yeah, this is the true original in that regard.
So this song, like, this is a song that has been recorded by the Misfits, the punk band, and also has been on like Kids Bop, sung by little children. Like this song is just so, everybody loves this song, you know, anybody can record it. It's fun. Yeah, like, what other song has that wide a range of, you know, performances?
Absolutely. I can't really think of too many. I mean, everyone knows this song. Everyone's sung this song. This has been in so many movies, as well as just TV shows. I mean, come on. But let's talk about good old Bobby Boris Pickett. So we mentioned that he had done some imitations of Boris Karloff, but he also did a pretty good Bela Lugosi.
Definitely, yeah. In fact, his Bela Lugosi may even be better than his Boris Karloff, even though it's, you know, you just get that one little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. He also, like, just was a songwriter, as you mentioned, in general.
Yeah, I think this is definitely what he is known for now, but, like, yeah, I think at the time he had some hits, you know, he was like a respected performer. I think the thing that makes this, and, like, I think later he, in fact, even recorded an entire album of monster songs himself, but still, like, the only one that really, really sticks is this one.
Yeah, he tried to do a beach song, Monster Swim.
And there's one called Monster Holiday, I'm pretty sure it was him as well. But yeah, I mean, there's something about this song that it's like, it's what we loved about those Universal movies we talked about, where it's like, you get all of the monsters, it's fun, it's not too scary, you know, it's playful, but, you know, you do have all of this sort of like sinister imagery that's kind of fun to kind of toe the line with, but like not, you know, not get too enmeshed in like the really, really macabre.
Yeah, it's definitely a little bit shticky, but I mean, it's fun, right? It's the fun part of Halloween.
Yeah, and I think that's the thing is, like, even people who are into like the really, really dark horror and stuff, there's something about Halloween that makes you want to like go watch Hocus Pocus and stuff. You know, you just want to like be a kid again and like eat candy, and this song just like exemplifies all of that so much. Exactly.
It's just a celebration of the season, effectively. I mean, like what you mentioned, there was Christmas, and that's, you know, that's more in a way subdued, but it's kind of commercial in that everyone goes out, buys things, does this. And for Halloween, it is the celebration of the scares and, you know, the darkness that's inherent in the world, but it's also that celebration of the life that's also there, even in that darkness. Yeah.
Yeah. Getting into the actual song, like, it starts out and you get these like great sound effects that it just feels so much like from a horror movie,
right?
Or a monster movie. And like, so there's the sound of a coffin opening, which is actually the sound of a nail being pulled out with a hammer. And then you get this like test tube bubbling, which apparently was literally just them holding like a glass of water with a straw in it up to a mic and just blowing bubbles into it.
Nice.
And then you get some chains that I think are actually chains. You know, that's the easiest way to recreate the sound of chains is chains.
Exactly.
And then you get that like that beat, you know, that's just sort of like a very traditional rock and roll beat, but as soon as you hear it, you know what you're in for.
Exactly.
The music to the song, it's kind of funny, like it's mixed so low that, like, I guess because the impression of Boris Karloff is the star of this song, you almost don't even hear the instrumentation. It's like there's piano that's kind of doing like a little, you know, kind of doo-wop kind of thing. And that's really the only instrument you can hear. I think there is like guitar and bass in there, but it's low. It's mostly just the drums and the vocals.
Right.
So you had a story about the performance of the song?
Okay. One of the most well-known appearances of Mr. Bobby Pickett did occur on Season 8, Episode 9 of American Bandstand, hosted by Dick Clark. And in that video, Mr. Pickett was lip-syncing to his own song, The Monster Mash. And throughout the course of the whole performance, he was mugging to the camera and performing all the creepy facial gestures that we've kind of come to know out of horror icons, like Jack Torrance specifically. Jack Nicholson's character in The Shining.
Oh, yeah. There's like a lot of that intense eyebrow acting, and you got that low camera angle that Kubrick made so famous years later.
And it also had the Addams Family star John Astin being interviewed, of the original Gomez.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So, I mean, you know, that was just a big Halloween episode where they got to experience all of the Addams Family to a degree. Of course, Boris Pickett. And another thing that I do think is interesting is that this song is so universal. It's even mentioned in the Stephen King book Carrie by name. And I believe Carrie actually wrote a love letter in the novel to Boris Pickett.
That's great. It's been a long time since I've read Carrie. I definitely didn't remember that, but that's really cool.
Yeah. And of course, you know, Stephen King just mentions songs casually throughout his books, just as they're his inspiration. But this one deserved a special call out, you know?
Yeah, that's pretty great. So let's get into the lyrics a little bit. So, like, you know, this sort of describes a short Frankenstein movie in a way, you know. Right. So you do get it's from the perspective of
the scientist,
sort of the scientist.
It feels like the doctor from yes, Dr. Nyman, right? Because that was the Boris Karloff doctor. Yeah.
So you know, with the Boris. You know, Boris' impression being the scientist. Yeah, that makes sense. And he describes working in his lab, and when he brings the creature to life,
he just starts dancing.
He gets up and just starts dancing, and does the monster mash. Which, like, this is one of those instances where, like, it's a song sort of about a song. Mm-hmm. So, like, this song is called the Monster Mash, but it's not. It isn't the Monster Mash. Like, this is a song about the Monster Mash having happened.
Right. So what do you think the actual... So this is like Tenacious D, the tribute song, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So what do you think the actual Monster Mash sounded like? I mean, maybe that's more of the chains and the rattling and the screeching nails and doors opening, coffins opening, and things like that.
You've got, you know, the... Igor's chains backed by his baying hounds.
Oh, there you go. That's it. Yeah, exactly. 100%. So we have baying hounds, we have chains. But let's run this down a little bit more. So he was apparently in the east side of his castle, or the laboratory on the east side of his castle. Vampires are feasting in his master bedroom.
Yeah, so of course you got to add the vampires into the mix.
Yeah.
And then you have the ghouls. The ghouls all came from their humble abodes, which ghouls are like grave robber, like sort of creatures. So I'm guessing, like, Yeah, I mean, like, I guess the ghouls are coming up out of the graves,
Right.
To get a jolt from his electrodes, which, is a strange sort of proposition because in all the monster movies we've seen, the only creature interested in getting a jolt is Frankenstein.
Listen, Anthony, I didn't want to tell you about this, but there are several underground electrode bars, and it's kind of a thing. It's very exciting when you experience that.
Yeah, I guess this is monster drugs. Like they're going to the party. They're plugging in.
I mean, it does make sense though, right?
It's like that episode of Futurama where Bender is jacking on. He plugs into the. So yep, they're all getting their jolts, and then they're doing the mash. So you got vampires and ghouls getting in.
Yeah, then we have zombies, and then we actually get the big names.
It caught on a flash, like we're like a minute into this song, and we got
everyone's doing it.
Yeah, so the zombies, they're having fun. Even though the party has just begun, and we've already gotten so many creatures involved. And then of course the Wolfman, Dracula, and his son all arrive.
But wait a second, isn't the son of Dracula Alucard, and isn't Alucard Dracula backwards?
Yeah, and Alucard is Lon Chaney, right? So
right,
Lon Chaney Jr. is all over this. He's the Wolfman. He's the son of Dracula.
Right, he was the Frankenstein monster. Listen, we're just going to call him Frankenstein. Let's just be done with it. I mean, we know him as Frankenstein. He has been proven to be a Frankenstein.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
So once Wolfman and Dracula show up, the scene's rocking. Everybody's digging the sounds, and then we get Igor on chains, backed by his bang hounds. So that's a quite a sound. You've just got rattling chains and howling dogs. So this song that we're listening to, the Monster Mash, is a fun rockin' song, but the actual Monster Mash might have not been so pleasant to our human ears.
Right. It's definitely great for monsters, not humans.
Yeah.
Or unless you're into some really experimental stuff.
Yeah, this is a noise rock band going on here.
Exactly. Yep.
And then you get the Coffin Bangers, which I guess is the percussionists.
I mean, that makes sense, right? That's kind of like the meme, right? Or not right now. It's probably about 5 or 10 years old, with the kid just slamming the oven door while his dad is playing a trumpet. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah. But of course, the vocals are provided by the Crypt Kicker 5.
Which the Crypt Kickers are credited as the band, as Bobby Boris Pickett's band on some versions of the record. So yeah, I mean the Crypt Kicker 5, what a great name! That's just cool.
What do you think the member list is like? I mean, who comprises the Crypt Kickers is what I'm asking. Other than Bobby Pickett.
Yeah, I mean, so there's got to be 4 more of them, and I mean, presumably there are 4 more monsters. But yeah, so then we get to where we get to hear Bobby's Lugosi impression, which is so great. So everybody seems to be having a good time here, except Dracula's a little unhappy with the situation. He's troubled by just one thing. So
what happened to his Transylvania Twist?
Yeah, and it's such a good little rock and roll line for this time period, because that was the thing. There was dance fads every month. There was a new one. You got the peppermint twist. You got and so of course Dracula. He's older than the rest of these people, so he's obviously not hip to the changing times. Right. So he's missing his Transylvania Twist when that's old news. At this point, the hip thing is the Monster Mash.
Well, maybe not so much, because it turns out, plot twist, the Transylvania Twist is the Monster Mash.
It's now the Mash, yeah. So so now everything's cool and Drac's a part of the band. Everybody's happy. We got, sometimes, that's the way music goes, is things just evolve and one thing kind of becomes another thing.
Exactly. As things change, spring leads to summer, summer leads to fall, fall leads to winter. And so does the Transylvania Twist lead to the Monster Mash.
Of course, as it is written.
Exactly.
So yeah, and then now that Drac's okay with it, this is where, Bobby Boris Pickett, he thinks that the mash is meant for us too. The living, we can enjoy it as well. So maybe they find a good harmony with those bang hounds and the percussive notes of the chains. Possibly it's more fun than it sounds. But make sure if you show up that you tell them Boris sent you.
Yeah, I'd hate to find out what happened if you didn't tell them that, though. I mean, you probably end up as a dinner.
I was getting ready to say the same thing. Yeah, if you don't have an invitation here, then you're on the menu.
Fair enough. But of course, he's at the very end. He's calling out Igor as a young, impetuous boy. Now, I remember Igor. Igor was an older fellow with a broken neck.
Yeah, the ending of this makes no sense because it's like Igor, he's going like mash good, like he's doing like a Frankenstein monster impression, but like Igor didn't sound like that.
Right.
But yeah, he's like, easy Igor, you impetuous young boy or whatever, and he just was growling. So Igor, I guess maybe the monster mash is so addictive that like it sort of like made Igor into a monster. You know, he sort of, you know, you do the monster mash and you become like Frankenstein's monster.
Oh no, we've got to get on that then. All right, everybody. Well, happy Halloween, and we hope you do the mash.
Yep, happy Halloween, everybody.
And as always, to be continued.